as I'm way back here, we're going live. All right, I will be joined here shortly with Misty. This is going to be my pilot reboot episode. Any random noises, I do apologize. We do have a dog. Her name's Kia. She's a bit of a whiny butt. She's not very old, about a year or two. So, forgive me. Audio issues, I'm hoping we don't have any. Bear with me for just a few moments. Say hi, Misty. And
Hi.
there's your microphone. She's kicking everything already. All right. I'm hot. So I am right now going into my personal profile. That's where we are currently broadcasting live. So give me just a moment here, folks. Hopefully you don't hear an echo. But I can see our reflection in the TV, so perfect. I can see how everything looks. All right. Give me a moment. I have a delay, so I'm just now getting to a point where some audio will hopefully. Audio issues. I'm hoping we don't have any. Okay.
Jinxie.
Oh, we also have a cat. Okay. I'm going to start. And there goes the cat. Or dog, I mean. Bear with me. I have never actually used Watch Party at all. So, all right, I have. There we go. I don't know what just happened. Well, up on the screen it looks fine, so all right. I do have. Boom. All right, so let me introduce what's going on here. So basically, I'm rebooting Notes and Nerds without changing the name or really too much about the whole broadcast. Hold on, I got to turn the volume over here down because I hate hearing myself. So, Notes and Nerds originally started off where a colleague of mine and I, we started going and doing this as he was the notes, I was the nerds, where it was music and nerd culture. Well, as we've gone our separate ways, he's doing photography, I'm doing this still. So I've decided that I really am not a huge music person as I used to be, so I'm moving away from concert videography and interviews and all that other stuff. Of course, I'm still maintaining focus on festivals, cons, conventions, and stuff like that. Nerd culture. That's that's me. I just have to stick with that. It's just the way I am. So basically, I didn't want to change the name of Notes Nerds, especially with all of the quote unquote marketing that I put into it. So, what is a better way to go? Keeping the notes, I thought, how about notes, like taking notes and stuff. I don't take notes. I don't even have a script for the stuff I do. I just wing it. And I've gotten good at it. So, what was the next step? Well, who doesn't like wine? I like wine. Do you like wine?
Yes.
She likes wine. So, why not do something where I incorporate wine as the notes in the sense of how about going and everybody talks about, oh, the notes in the flavor and blah blah blah. You know. So I thought, okay, flavor notes, aromatic notes, wine. And that's what we're going to do. Now, in this pilot episode, normally what's going to start happening is I actually subscribe to Bright Cellars, as in wine cellar, as in the hole in the ground you keep your wine in, where I'm going to be getting 6 bottles based off of a quiz. And I will put a link for a referral down below where you'll get a discount about $45. I'll get points. Hopefully, maybe Bright Cellars will give me some kind of response regarding a sponsorship, so it'll make it even more worthwhile, because I like wine. It really depends. I'm not into the bitter and the sour style. I know some people like that taste to it. I like sweet wines. I like flavorful wines, fruity wines. So that's what we're going to go with. We're actually going to be using Barefoot Cellars wines. We got a sangria grape wine and a sweet red blend California wine. So it says Gold Standard 2017 Toast of the Coast Wine Competition. So hopefully these are really good. I haven't had them before, so we'll find out. And of course, the other topic of this show being the nerds, we're going to talk about some nerdy stuff today. Since yesterday was May the 4th, and today is Revenge of the 5th, we're going to talk a little Star Wars. She's just going to drink wine and also eat some of the wonderful goodies that I have here. We have some meats and cheeses, or charcuterie and cheese platter. Fancy talk for meat and cheese. We got an Irish cheddar, a Dutch Gouda, a Danish Havarti, and a German Swiss, all right here in the row that I read them off. We have a smoked trout, and I forgot the name, prosciutto. It's a prosciutto del something or other. Really nice, fancy smoked meats that are thinly sliced, like paper thin. And of course, we got a couple different crackers. Bretton's, let's see here, original style crackers, no real flavor profile to them, as the meats and the cheeses should be what carries the flavor. This is just a vehicle for it. The other one is a little more interesting. It's a Simply Nature brown rice cracker with a tomato and basil flavor. I decided to go with the tomato and basil because it's not an overpowering flavor. It's just there, and it should taste good, and it should complement the meat cheeses that we put on these little chips. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'm going to move my microphone here a little bit. All right. What would you like to start off with?
Sweet red blend.
All right. We're going to start off with the Barefoot Sweet Red Blend California, smooth and sweet. Footnotes. Haha, like that? Footnotes, notes, nerds. Haha, you see, it's already rolling. Yeah. Barefoot Sweet Red Blend is a smooth and sweet red wine blend with luscious aromas and flavors of black cherry and plum. It pairs well with marinated flank steak, grilled vegetables, and all spicy treats. Refrigerate after opening, and yes, these are chilled, so this way I don't have to worry, and hopefully I don't need to do anything fancy to open this thing, because I do not have a wine opener right now. Or do we?
I think we do.
Because we're going to need it. She's going to go find the wine opener, or corkscrew. I do have one coming from, because you can actually get some accessories from Bright Cellars when they do come in. So keep that in mind. Let's see here. I'm going to check up our live video comments. So remember, this is a live watch party, folks, and of course, I will keep this uploaded and shared to Notes and Nerds on Facebook. I'm not sure when. I think the official pilot episode for both Notes and Nerds on YouTube and Facebook will go live later. I'm not sure if I want to go and do those live all the time or if we're going to just record those. It's just a matter of what direction I want to take. All right. Screw this right on down onto this. Pop. Ooh. I like that smell. That is a good smell. I went a little too deep on this as I popped a hole all the way through. You're not supposed to do that. I got a little excited there, and I popped the hole. That sounds wrong. The other one here, it actually has a screw top, so it is what it is. All right. Clean glass. I'm not fancy, folks. There is no crazy glasses here.
You only got 2 for it.
There we go. Let me pop this right here. Okay. A little backstory also on the idea that I came up for this. I'm not going to say this is original because, quite honestly, there's no such thing as an original idea these days. However, a colleague and friend of mine, Littlebeard, if you're not familiar with him, he is a pirate, a scallywag, an all-around fun guy. I went with him to LA last year for the Ghostbusters Fan Fest. And he, on Thursdays every week, around 9 o'clock, I believe, Central Time, he does his New Brew Thursdays. He also has his own winery, and we're going to hopefully have a couple of his wines on this show in the future. So, all right, let's go ahead and give this a shot. I do like the smell. It's got a bitter note to it. It's strong, but I'm not gagging. I like that. It's not this crazy, in-your-face, here's the fruit, here's the fermented fruit flavor. So it's actually really good. I appreciate that. And it's not thick. It doesn't feel sticky on the tongue. It feels clean. So I really like this sweet red blend. It's not overly sweet, and it definitely is smooth. So, all right, now the trout, we got this at good old Wally World. Not too expensive. I think it was about $8. What cheese would you like? The Irish cheddar.
Supposed to put the cheese first.
Yes, I know. I did it backwards. This trout is honestly really, really good. I'm going to use the tomato, basil, and garlic. And I'm going to use the Dutch Gouda, and she's throwing the fish everywhere. Either she's kicking everything, or she's throwing everything everywhere. It's really nice. I like it. It's pre-cooked. Well, smoked. It's not cooked, it's smoked. I can't tell if this is like a smoked flavoring, and it's cooked that way. And I am disappointed. It does have a bone in it. That is a no-no. You're not supposed to have bones in it. It's a choking hazard. Actually, there's a whole slew of bones in there.
I don't see no bones in mine.
Well, they're soft enough that you should be fine.
Yeah.
But I like the color. It's a little dense, so it's dried out a little bit, but that's good for smoking.
It's good.
combination of the smoked trout and this goes really well. Now I have a sore inside my mouth up on the roof. I think I ate something that burnt the roof. I don't know when or where. So the trout kind of stings. So, all right, guys, Star Wars. I've been a fan of Star Wars my whole life. No lies. And I'm not afraid to nitpick what's wrong with the franchise or where it went wrong, where it went right, and where it went great. Now, I have not gotten to do much for the Clone Wars season, this new season. It just finished yesterday. I haven't watched any of it yet. I did see a couple first seasons back when it was new. I've seen the original film that started it off. She hasn't seen any of it. Let's see here. I actually, when it comes down to Star Wars, I've seen everything that's been on except for the Christmas special, and I refuse to watch it, as it should be, because nobody talks about the Christmas special for reasons. It's horrible. Terrible. Grandpa Chewbacca, not Chewbacca himself, but basically Chewbacca's dad or grandfather or whatever, I dare say he was watching porn without it being porn. I mean, come on. George Lucas literally called the music, the space jazz in the cantina, jizz. And if you play jizz, you're a jizz whaler. Jizz whaler. That's my porn name. So, not always the best decisions. I have seen the Ewoks cartoon. I've watched the Droids cartoon. There is a couple cartoons I have yet to watch. The new Star Wars CG cartoon. Haven't watched that. I have not watched the really kiddie-oriented Destiny series, I think it's Star Wars Destinies, which has all the female lead characters taking on prominent roles in the episodes. Not because of that, it's just that the episodes are very child-oriented, so just, I can't watch it. I have seen The Mandalorian, and who doesn't love the child? Yes, we know Baby Yoda is not Baby Yoda, because Yoda is dead by this series, but it's just easier to explain to the uneducated that it's Baby Yoda. Did you know his name was the child? You haven't even seen it yet, have you?
No, I haven't.
Didn't spoil anything. So other than that, if my audio is low, folks, I do apologize. It's because I'm using an audio mixer. I think your microphone just, yep, it died.
Yep.
I'm going to disconnect that. Bear with me, folks. I'm going to make an alteration to audio to help boost the audio. Give me a moment. Unplug that. All right, we should sound a lot better now. Okay, let me double check my audio here. Testing. Okay, let me double check my audio here. Oh yeah, we're a lot louder now. So, angle this just enough so it'll pick you up a little bit better too. All right, so, boom. So let me go ahead and discuss where I think Star Wars went right. Rogue One is one of those films that was done completely right. Took original characters, made its own story, tied into the overall story arc and the story elements of the main franchise of the Skywalker saga. Ended cleanly. I'm not sure how I feel about the series that's going to be coming out based off of, I can't think of his name right now. You've seen here.
Eating what you
You've
got.
seen Rogue One, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Remember how they both died at the end? The dude, can't think of his name. He's supposed to have his own series. It's kind of a prequel to Rogue One, kind of showing his Rebel Alliance spy days. So it's kind of curious. I'm hoping they'll bring in, gosh darn it, can't think of his name either. Anyway, great film, great storytelling. Got to have a sit down with Darth Vader himself a few years ago.
Lucky.
Spencer Wilding.
Lucky.
Great guy. Awesome dude. Very friendly. Very enthusiastic too. Don't tick him off though, because he is a professional kickboxer. I've seen some of his stuff. It's pretty cool. So yes, he does some of his own stunt work. Solo. Another solid movie. It was underrated in my opinion, mostly because there was so many horrible stories going around about how there was a acting coach on set. For anybody who doesn't understand how this works, with an acting coach on set for a film like this, where you're an actor coming in to play as another actor in an iconic role, you need to have somebody that's outside looking in, so to speak, making sure that you're hitting mannerisms correctly. It wasn't that the guy couldn't act. It just he had to make sure he was acting within a certain certain parameters. And I hope that they don't. I would love to see another Solo film. I would love to see another one, especially with the whole Black Sun. I think that's the organization. I'm having major brain farts here, folks. Sorry. Basically, Darth Maul at the end, we find out he's running the criminal organization, and I would really love to see them pursue that more and give us a huge backstory for that. And I mean, just one more film. That would be fine. We don't need to have a trilogy or a quadrilogy or anything. We just need a good tie-up sequel. And it could be something that maybe helps lead us into when Han Solo dropped the cargo and why Jabba is wanting that bounty on his head. You know, it all could tie together somehow. And just, it doesn't have to be elaborate. Another heist space film, a space heist film. I want that. That would be great. And then we got the new, the prequel trilogy. They were, when you go back and rewatch them, they're good films. They really are good films. They helped us help build what the Republic was, and it helped build what the universe really was about politically, without too much action, which is what the problem was. Is that classic Star Wars had a lot of action in it. It was really in your face. It really did some crazy stuff, but nobody was really quite sure how to take what was going on with the prequels, because it was so radically different. Okay, here you go. You're gonna like this. The bruschetta is delicious. And it just kind of falls apart. The wax paper does nothing. Here, pick your cheese.
Spice. Ooh, Dutch Gouda.
There's no spicy cheese here.
Dutch Gouda.
Dutch Gouda is delicious. Here you go. The only problem with the original, the prequel trilogy, was the politics were too much, way too deep. And I think, honestly, the only big issue was too much of a reliance on CG special effects at that time, where we could really see some problems. Like there's a scene in Attack of the Clones where Padme and Anakin are going into the droid factory, and Anakin's head clips the door. He doesn't actually clip anything, but the CG door, his head literally passes through the door. Yeah, he was supposed to duck really low, but he didn't duck low enough. I mean, it's really nice knowing that those guys on that film really loved the parts and had fun doing it, because you could tell they were having a blast doing the show. That's great. That fish is delicious. The new trilogy, I blame Disney for where it went wrong. Yes, it felt like more of the same, because that's one thing. The prequel trilogy was not more of the same. Every movie was a completely different movie from the original trilogy. And I think that was too much of a radical difference as well for a lot of fans. But back in hindsight now, we appreciate it more. Whereas the J.J. Abrams films, the bookends of the new trilogy, were so much the same. Even Rian Johnson's version of The Last Jedi was Empire Strikes Back. Here's the correct term. Empire Strikes Backwards. Yes, I'm gonna hashtag that every time I talk about The Last Jedi. Empire Strikes Backwards, because when you think about it, it wasn't Hoth that they ended up on, but it did sure look like Hoth, didn't it, at the end of the film? But overall, Rian Johnson's film completely ditched everything that was being built upon in the first film, because there was discussion that Palpatine was supposed to be a significant character by the second film. But Rian Johnson wanted to go to a completely different direction. Now, maybe he did do a decent Star Wars film. Don't get me wrong. It's just he did not do a very good Skywalker Saga film. I would like to see him do something in the Star Wars universe again. Just, it has to be his own thing in a standalone film without having to rely on continuing any major story elements. Or if it does, loosely based story elements that don't necessarily have to have an overall impact on everything else within the Star Wars universe and canon. If we would have had a succession of films for the new trilogy that actually maintained a story arc and coherency, it would have been a much better film, because in The Rise of Skywalker, it felt like a lot of pick-me-ups and clean-up messes. And that's why the film felt so disconnected. I feel bad that the Rose character got kind of shafted in the third film. And the actress got so much flack from the fanboys. But for what it's worth, The Rise of Skywalker was an excellent film to finish the Skywalker saga. Mm-hmm. I'm not keen on... What's your last name? Skywalker. No, it's not. Just something else. I don't know how I felt about that. I liked it, but I didn't like it. It just kind of felt cheap, because it's almost like a back door that Disney kind of engineered into the film, saying, we're done with the Skywalker film saga unless we decide to make her the main Skywalker now. No. She could have said Kenobi. Nobody would have got upset about that. We would have heard some fanboys say, I was right all along. Haha, see, technically I was right. Okay, great. You can have it.
Your wine.
I'm not going to drop my wine because this is good stuff.
Well, you're going with it.
That is surprisingly good wine. It is. Now, I'm going to open up our next bottle, and then I want to make some comparisons, because this is a Disney thing. I'm going to make a Marvel Cinematic Universe comparison. So, again, this is a screw top. So, this one was the cheaper bottle. 2017 Los Angeles International Wine Competition, gold, 90 points. So, this is a sangria, a grape wine with natural flavors. I am going to commit some sacrilege here and use the same wine glass, but I told you, I'm not a wine connoisseur. I just like wine.
Just pour mine first.
It's not like I'm drinking it right away. Yeah. So before I continue on, talking a little comparison between the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Star Wars, let's take a sip of dish and say what we feel about this.
Smells good.
has a bit of the same smell as the red
bit.
blend, but a little sweeter smelling. It's crisp.
It's pretty good,
I like this too. There's a bit of a sour note to it,
but it's not.
but
Overpowering.
it's not sweet like the sweet red blend, and it's not overpowering like you just said. And there's a tingle, a bit of a, I don't know, I'll call it a sharpness, a crispness to
Yeah.
the flavor, where it says, "Hi, I'm here, and I'm going to make you feel happy." And that is where I'm going. Our dog is barking.
She wants inside.
You know, that's too bad. It's a beautiful day, and she's a big dog. She has a lot of energy to burn off. So, the direction Star Wars needs to take is something that I originally was kind of against, but now that I look at it, it works. Danish Havarti, that's good. I like Havarti cheese. It's excellent. But this Danish one is, this is just a cheap stuff. This ain't expensive cheese. I have some tastier cheese in my fridge. We have some in there, and it's really good stuff. And we're saving that for the real good episode. All right, so the thing about Marvel is everybody got their own film. There was an overarching element of what the characters were supposed to lead to, yet at the same time, everybody had their own thing going on, where each film didn't rely on the other films. And that's where I want Star Wars to go. We don't need to have, and they all don't have to take place in the same time frame. Like The Mandalorian is 5 years after Return and, well, 25 years before Force Awakens, because Force Awakens takes place 30 years after Return. So Marvel went this route of telling independent stories, created a timeline where, if you go and look at the chronology of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, not the release dates, but how the films on a timeline took place, certain events all took place at the same time. Like Iron Man 2 and Thor technically take place right about the same time, where about the halfway point, Agent Coulson leaves, and that's when Tony is making his new element for his replacement, his arc reactor replacement. When Coulson leaves, that's going to New Mexico, because of Thor's hammer. It all takes place roughly about the same time, because if at the end of the film, Coulson is there now, and he finds the satellite, as S.H.I.E.L.D. told everybody what it was. And I wouldn't mind seeing that. But of course, I do love the Guardians of the Galaxy. That is a film that, when we get to Guardians of the Galaxy 2, it is 4 months after the events of the first Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's several months before events that take place by the time, like, Endgame takes, or not Endgame, but when the Infinity War starts, it finally plays catch up with the end credit scenes, where it shows Groot going from baby Groot to teenage Groot. So yeah, I mean, Disney needs to let Star Wars happen this way. And again, Star Wars has got a rich tapestry of content. If you followed the Dark Horse comics back in the day, they go all the way to like 10,000 years before the Battle of Yavin. No, sorry, not that far back. I think the Old Republic comics that I have were 3,000 or 4,000 years before the Battle of Yavin. And I have an issue of classic Old Republic style Star Wars where it literally is about how the Jedi first form, they stumble across the Sith for the first time, and all this kind of stuff. It's a classic story, and if they want to rehash some of these story elements, they got it. And then you don't have to worry about it overlapping with stuff in Mandalorian. You don't have to worry about it interfering with anything happening in the Skywalker saga, because so much was never referenced in those films. Do stuff that takes place long after Rey is older, stuff like that. And you don't have to worry about cross-contamination. All they need to do is create a quote-unquote Star Wars Universe Bible that says, like the Star Trek Encyclopedia, there is a Star Wars Encyclopedia that's no longer canonical. Recreate it, establish certain time frames where certain events happen, and behind the scenes to all the people making films, nobody has the ability to write a book about this unless given the green light and a permission from Disney. And they have to hit certain points within the thing because it's established already canonically here, but vaguely. And then they could just make whatever they want from there. It would make a great storytelling campaign and elements that would make Star Wars rich and fulfilling and fun. And I think, honestly, we end up with a bunch of people, a lot of fans would probably end up appreciating the whole franchise a lot more. Because at this point, we end up with a Star Wars that literally is for everybody. Everybody is going to find elements that they like that maybe somebody else doesn't like, and that'd be perfectly fine. That's what needs to happen. So, enough of that. I am curious how Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to continue on, but I'm not going to speculate on anything because with the current pandemic going on, nobody knows anything anymore. No.
You're weird.
I'm weird. There's meat on there. I had to get the meat. So, if you guys want to help support Notes Nerds, there's a variety of different ways. One is our my referral for Bright Sellers, which I will have linked on the video later. There's also the Patreon at patreon.com/notesnerds. There is my shop at shop.notesnerds.com where you get t-shirts, and my light right there just died on me. Battery died. That's okay. I got bigger lights on the sides here. Oh, I just looked at one too. But yeah, patreon.com/notesnerds. Shop.notesnerds.com where you can buy shirts and all those other goodies. And occasionally I throw up links to Amazon. If you see something that you like that I'm talking about, like I'm going to be doing an episode down the road where I just got a really cool brawler controller, USB brawler thing for my Genesis Mini a couple weeks ago. Fantastic 6-button, well, actually it's 8-button. It's got 2 shoulder, 6-face, D-pad, mode button, start button, and a single analog. Fantastic USB controller for the Genesis Mini. Yes, it does function as a 6-button controller. Yes, you could probably use it as a N64 controller in emulation. I haven't tried yet. Also going to do some other reviews of products that I've just recently received, like a Switchbox/upscaler for composite video to HDMI. It's got 2 inputs, and I have my Genesis and my Saturn hooked up to it to the TV, and I was surprised. It's only $30. Surprised in a, hey, it works, but not, well, you're going to have to wait for that episode, because I'm not going to spoil it too much. So, we're not on the Switch game. We don't have Animal Crossing, but you like your Sims, don't you?
I just bought Laundry Day.
Hmm?
I just bought Laundry Day for $10.
All right, yay, your Sims can do laundry now.
Shush it. So rude.
Tell us about it.
No. I don't like talking.
Well, what's the premise of Laundry Day on Sims 4? I don't get it.
So this way it can be more like real life when you're doing laundry almost every day.
You ain't doing laundry.
I do hate doing laundry.
So why do you
But
have
I do it all the time because somebody else doesn't know how to help me. Especially when I ask him to do something.
We're not discussing that here.
I don't care.
You're mean.
You still
I don't know. Sims is like one of those games when I have the complete
I like playing.
original.
Well, I also like building houses.
That's fun, I guess. But I mean, Sims is one of those games where I have the complete edition or the complete version of the original Sims. I mean, all of the games, all the add-ons. It was fun back then. In Sims 2, we have the complete edition, but we've never played that one. It's one of those games where you play it, and then you're like, okay, what's the point? And it's kind of like what Animal Crossing is looking like. But at the same time, Animal Crossing is just this weird little fetch quest game that feels rewarding. It's monotonous, but in a fun way. I guess that's Sims. I just don't like the fact that Sims feels too much like real life that... I don't know. I just can't get into it enough. Of course, when I already own a photography set, a camera, I run a YouTube channel and Facebook page, and we already have enough drama going on in our lives. I don't feel the need to play the video game to fulfill these fantasies. And I mean, yeah, okay, well, Eric, you can do the magic and all that stuff, but I remember the magic elements from way back when,
You'd be a spy.
and it kind of broke the game. And being a spy, I got spy kits already. I'm for hire. Dirty deeds done dirt cheap. No, I won't do that, but yes, I will do that. She'll do the other thing. There is going to be a PC version of Animal Crossing that's not Animal Crossing. Hako, I think, or something like that. It's literally Animal Crossing, but with PC-style gameplay. Like, there's a lot more functionality in regards to how you manipulate things, how you interact with furniture, how you interact with the world around you. It hasn't been released yet. I don't even think a beta's out yet. Will I try it? Yes. If there's a demo, I'm definitely downloading it and trying it. It is on Steam, but if you go and do a quick Google search for PC Animal Crossing, Steam, literally PC Animal Crossing, Steam, you should get that result because there's a lot of news articles that made the comparison. And I'm sure somebody who's from the company that made the game intentionally set it so this way, if you do that search, you know, SEO stuff. So, it's the bad thing about dogs. They're great pets, but if you don't have the time or the patience, it can be a little bit of a hassle.
That's why I'm more of a cat person.
Mm-hmm.
She's a good cat.
She's a needy little thing.
Lately, yeah.
We had her fixed, but she still likes that one spot scratched. Oh, God, does she love it. Uh-huh.
Especially my side of the bed. She pushes me over.
And then you push me off the bed.
Because she's literally laying like this way. Not this way. This way. Beside my stomach. Or my head.
Oops, I grabbed two on accident.
I'll take one of them.
So, I know we're not getting a lot of viewers, it seems. Or comments, or watch stuff. So with the world as it is today, I have to admit, I'm finally getting to a point where I am missing the cons. I am desperately, horribly missing my conventions.
I'm essential, so I wish I just stay home.
Yes, she is an essential employee. She works at a convenience store, which is nice. My video corrected itself on my tablet for a moment there and then went right back to whatever. Um, Essential is good, though. I mean, we don't have to worry too much about finances this way.
Exactly.
I wasn't really liking the idea of talking about this, but we did see, because I did work last year, even though there is somebody who doesn't think I did. I did work last year, so I did file taxes. Way to go. And I did get, we both got, and our son did too, because he was working up until this all happened, where we got our packages, stimulus money. That was really helpful. Kept us afloat, kept us ahead of things. But without her being working, it would have made things a lot more difficult.
Oh yeah.
And we don't need that. There's enough going on. So good. So we've had both wines. It's our first time eating. Which one do you like most?
I like them both the same, basically, almost.
I am not going to lie. I think this one is my personal favorite right here. I do like this one more. It's tasty. It gets the job done. And it's smooth. So I'm going to have another glass. Now, I do have to be careful. I'm not a drinker.
We both aren't.
So, when it comes to drinking, I can tell when I'm starting to feel the effects. And I do have that little feeling in the back, right behind the eyes is where I get it. Where I do feel it a little bit.
Mine's right back here.
We've got a viewer.
I don't know who that is.
I have no idea who's viewing either. That's what sucks is I can't see. That was my comment. So, future episodes. Let's go and talk about that real quick, guys. On future episodes, what I really want to do is have variety of guests, whether you're a cosplayer, an artist, a developer, and well, let me start over because the dog is distracting me. Whether you are a cosplayer, an author, an artist, a con promoter, like if you are somebody who puts on a convention, actresses, directors, anybody. I would love to have you on as a guest. We'll drink wine, talk about your stuff, talk about nerd culture, nerd news, and more. All that good stuff. And there is the kitty. You are now internet famous-ish.
It's Chinksy.
That'll help my ratings.
Beautiful cat. Being a book cat.
That's mean. But yeah, I mean, anybody who wants to be a guest on here, just give me a buzz, let me know, and we can work something out. Episodes are filmed here at Nerd Haven. Just because I don't like the idea of traveling with alcohol, which does put us in a position, if you have special requirements, like certain dietary requirements, if you want to be a guest, like no alcohol. We'll make sure we have something special set aside or purchased for you, such as those sparkling grape juices and stuff. This way, if you could participate in drinking something
In a wine glass.
in a wine glass. This way you don't feel left out. If you can't have wheat, well, we understand that. If you're vegan, we understand that. So we can make sure we have some vegetable platters and stuff like that set aside as well. That is something I was planning on doing also for our next episode. I haven't decided officially yet if I want to go with the cheese and crackers and veggies yet. Because I like my meats. The next episode, I'm hoping we should have the actual better, the Bright Cellars branded stuff, the box that comes in, 6 bottles of wine. They all average around $15 to $20 a bottle. I got it as a special through a link on another YouTube channel. I'm a big fan of Binging with Babish. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of you probably already know who I'm talking about. That guy is he's fantastic. I love his stuff. His most recent video, he promoted it on making pan sauces and stuff with certain wines, and it was fun. So that's why I tried it, and it looks like a promising product, and I've read some good reviews on it. It might be taking a little while to get here because of our current pandemic situation, so we'll see. We're going to do some smoked salmon, some variety of cheeses. I have a really cool little meat platters with 3 different types of delicatessen meats. That should be good. Try to be a little more focused with the next episode. I kind of threw it all together at the last second today because I was trying to put things off long enough, but it got to a point where I really wanted to get this episode done and out. I wanted to get it promoted. This way everybody can come back. You know, if you're watching this after the fact, because like I said, this is being broadcast live. Today is May 5th. Revenge of the 5th. It was 7 o'clock when we started, 7 p.m. Central Time. It is now 10 till 8, so we're going to be probably wrapping up here shortly. I want more people to participate with being in the comments. I mean, if you can't be here, obviously it's difficult for everybody to be everywhere because 6-foot distancing, social distancing. But, if you want to participate, the comments section, I have a tablet set up aside right here that I can see any comments being made and what you all are saying. If you have questions about something nerdy and you want me to give my opinion on something, or you want to share your opinion on a topic that I'm discussing, you're more than welcome to. We'll discuss it. And if you're curious about the wines we're drinking and you want to know more about it, I'm more than happy to discuss it. So let's go ahead and tie this off and complete this episode. Revisit our wine selections that I made today. The Barefoot Sweet Red blend here, I think it was $5.99 at our local supermarket, Sunmart, not a sponsor, and also Barefoot, not a sponsor. You could be a sponsor if you want to be. $5.99. I am pleasantly surprised by it. It is inexpensive. I will not use the word cheap. When I say cheap, if something is cheap, I'm talking it's either poorly manufactured, poorly produced, poorly made. We've had cheap wine. Boone's Farm is cheap wine.
But it's not. Some of it's not.
It's cheap wine.
Some of it's pretty good.
It is good for if you need a sweet wine with your dinner and you don't want to have anything too fancy.
Yeah.
But it's basically alcoholic Kool-Aid. That's cheap wine, if you want to call it wine. This is inexpensive wine. I'm, like I said, pleasantly surprised with it. It has won some awards according to its bottle. The other was the Barefoot Sangria grape wine. It is also good. It's crisp. It's flavorful. It's fun. Both are very tasty and very fruity. I can honestly say I recommend the 2 of them if you like your wines. Without breaking the bank.
Okay, good.
I mean, our first wines that we've ever had, which was probably 20 years ago. No, not probably. Was 20 years ago.
No, it was almost 20. Maybe it's not 20 yet.
Sutter Home. Sutter Home's good, but there is a problem with Sutter Home in regards to that. I always find that it's a little too tart.
Yeah. I wish I could say which one I got.
It was a Merlot.
No, what I got from my 20-year class reunion.
You went to Pawnee City.
To the winery down there, and oh my god, it wasn't too bad. I gotta take the bottle home with me.
I don't know where your bottle is.
It's over here. Not as sponsor of this. Here, you talked about it.
Shilling Bridge Winery.
Pawnee City, Nebraska. Not a sponsor, but
Vined and bottled by Shilling Bridge Winery, Pawnee City, Nebraska. I don't think I've seen this locally.
it's like I said, it's in Pawnee City.
I think what we'll have to do is reach out to them and see if we can.
I want to go down there again and do a wine tasting and actually a wine tour where they can show you how to make the wine. And because one of my music teachers back in Pawnee City, she works there. And like I said, that's why we had our 20-year class reunion in August of last year. No, 2 years ago, I mean. And it was pretty good.
No reason why we can't do a live video notes and nerds that way.
I don't think they'll have a problem if I can get a hold of them.
We'll reach out and find out.
Yeah. And they have sweet wine. They have the white.
If there are any wine brands that you think we should try, let us know.
Yeah.
If you own a winery or you work for a winery, let us know. We'll be glad to try out your product and give our honest opinion. I will be honest. We are not going to get, even if you become a sponsor, we will not give a false recommendation. Mostly because false recommendations are brand damaging to those who are promoting your product. I mean, we understand that everybody wants to promote their product. They want to get it out there. They want everybody to enjoy it, so on and so forth. But at the same time, we got to make sure that, people are honest, that they are held accountable for what they are producing. And if we don't like it, if we cannot recommend it, we're not going to recommend it. But Barefoot, I'm sure a lot of you've already had it or tried it, or maybe you haven't yet because it's not your go-to. You have a go-to, and when everybody gets a go-to, well, it's called a go-to for a reason. Maybe you should add it onto your list and try it. So, I honestly have to say, I like the concept of the new Notes and Nerds. If you feel like you enjoyed this episode, please give me a like and a comment on the video, as that does help out a lot. It helps me formulate information and decide how to go from there. Yes, I know this one was posted directly to my personal Facebook, which limited my reach. Well, maybe not quite limited it as much as you think it would have, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to put it on the actual Notes and Nerds proper, but I am. You're probably seeing that it was shared there by now. We'll go from there.
And I hate being in front of the camera.
You did very well. Very well.
Get a little wine in me, I guess.
Little Brave Juice. Wasn't intending to do this, but I have to say the Simply Nature crackers, I believe we got these at Aldi.
Mm-hmm.
These are good.
Mm-hmm. They're gluten-free.
They're not overpowering.
Mm-mm. They're vegan and gluten-free.
Wow. Well, we completely ruined the vegan aspect.
Yeah.
Because the meat and cheese options are not vegan.
No. Billy?
So guys, this is basically what to expect from Notes and Nerds, where we will be experimenting with new wines. If I decide not to continue with Bright Cellars because of whatever reasons come up down the road, we will definitely use our local grocery store and our local liquor stores, because they do carry a variety of different wines. Most of the wines that they carry are wines that you're pretty much going to be familiar with already.
Hopefully get to a winery and,
Hopefully, yeah. That'd be a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people, like I said, just don't experiment with different wines. So hopefully this will give you an opportunity to, excuse me, learn about a wine you're wanting to try but not quite brave enough yet. And of course, more cool content down the road. So with that, thank you for tuning in, and see you next time. And don't forget to support us by liking, comment, and subscribing to all of our social medias at Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I think I said Twitter already,
You
didn't I?
said all of them twice already.
/ Notes and Nerds or Notes and Nerds dot, because Tumblr is Notes and Nerds in front and all that stuff. And also don't forget to go to our website at www. I think I've had too much wine.
www.notesandnerds.com.
Right there, guys. And patreon.com / Notes and Nerds or shop.notesandnerds.com to help support the channel, because, you know, it's appreciated. And, you know, go ahead and share the video. Share the video. Let people see the video. Share it with your friends, because ad revenue and subscriptions and stuff. So, later, guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Bye.
Oh, I had people waving.
Oh, you did?
Hold on. I'm going to, real quick. Let's see here. I had a wave from Eric Lenhart, Marty Langford. Marty Langford, by the way, directed a video. Sorry. Marty Langford, real quick, guys, directed this DVD right here, Doomed. It is a documentary, the untold story of Roger Corman's The Fantastic Four. It's an excellent documentary. We showed this at Slash and Bash a couple years ago. Fantastic documentary. I have an interview with him, along with Dr. Doom himself, and also Mad Men star Joseph Culp. Shout out to him. So check out this DVD, guys.
Who else waved?
Let's see here. Also waved was Antoine Steele, which works with, who said what?
Hi, Nikki.
Hi, Nikki. She also waved.
She just said, hey.
Antoine
Okay.
Steele, he was in a lot of the Todd Sheets films. I worked with him in Todd Sheets' Zombie Rampage 2, and Misty was in that, even though you did not appear in the film, unfortunately.
I wasn't good enough.
Brad Pasau, which is an excellent cosplay photographer. Leif Yonker down in, he's a independent filmmaker as well. Met him, and I have an interview with him on the channel. He was down at ICT Comic-Con and Science Fiction Expo. Steve Daniels, thank you for waving. He is a fantastic artist. Sat next to him at Kansas City Comic-Con's last event that they did a few years ago.
Is that the one close I got?
Clarissa's friends with him.
Yep.
And of course, our friend Nikki. So, again, guys, thank you very much for tuning in and liking the video. Y'all have a good one.